Hey everybody, welcome to Bennett Brothers Shop. Parker and Gary Bennett, Tractor Whisperer. We're gonna do some work on our P-Pump, more work on our P-Pump. We're gonna modify the AFC Housing for our AFC Live controller. On it, we're gonna do a Max Travel Kit as well. The Max Travel Kit will add 21 millimeters of stroke. We're gonna modify the foot. We'll take the, we'll modify the controller, take the foot, the plate out, modify the foot, and we're also, while we're in there, there's a diaphragm right here. We're not gonna take any chances on the diaphragm failing. We're gonna put a new one in it while we're there. There's the numbered part. Got it power driven diesel. So that's, we're looking forward to doing that. It's great, be a big improvement. One of the things that we wanted to show you today, and we will, if it's on the truck, this particular bracket sets on here like this, like that, on top of the AFC. And there's an 8mm bolt. You have to take these bolts out, of course, to take the AFC out. But this 8mm bolt right here, make sure you loosen that up considerably so you can roll your shut-off solenoid down. So that's it. Looking forward to getting this thing done and show you all the process. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and break this Allen, big Allen plug out, and that gives us access to the star wheel, but they're usually pretty tight, so heard it pop. That made it easy. That's what we needed. And then we can go ahead and take this out. And then we have, well, I'm gonna set it out of the way because it's got to come out anyhow. All right, there's also a gasket on it right there. Make sure you get that gasket. The star wheel is in here, and if you look over the top, you can see the original travel spring AFC Travel Kit. And these units, they have 8mm bolts that come out, and then it has an anti-theft screw. Somebody's already modified this anti-theft. Show them that too, Parker, while you're right there. That's the travel spring right there, and there's a star wheel in there. We'll adjust it later. We're gonna bottom it out. We're gonna put the long travel kit in it. But this screw's been modified already to come out. I've got an impact screwdriver, and I'm going to, there you go. That one's loose. Parker's already broke it loose for me. You do this one too? Nope. There you go. I got them both. That's the best way to get them out.
Without tearing them up.
Without tearing them up. Right. So
we gotta, before we take it off, we need to grind these screws here.
We can do that device. Okay. Yeah, we can see them better. We'll stand it. There's also 2 more anti-theft screws in the front of this cover. We're going to see that spacer underneath that one.
Yeah, I put that there.
Oh, that's the spacer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the.
That's where the shut-off solenoid was.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and mark this.
I think we should.
Look, it's in the middle though. Oh, it's nearly the middle. But I'm gonna mark it.
Yeah,
anyway.
What Parker's doing, he's marking the housing. The housing will affect your low-end response. Mark it on here too. Mark it on there.
That's good. No, I can see it. It's good.
Okay. All right. And also how much it smokes. This thing's slotted and it has over 100 thousandths of travel. Back in, let's see if we can get it move. Let's see. Let me loosen this up. We can show them right now. See this? All the way back is the smokiest. That way is less fuel. Sometimes you have them all the way that way. They're hard to crank because there's not enough fuel going in it. And most of them factory settings is pretty much in the middle.
We'll put ours in the middle probably.
Because we're going to have a lot of adjustment.
Look at there, factory got a fuel plate in there. That's a good sign.
Yep, factory fuel plate.
Pump it and messed with.
Yep.
See that? Let me show them the fuel plate before you take it out.
I'm going to just see if it's socket. Yeah, I think that's a 10mm.
It's a screwdriver head.
Or 10.
No.
It's a screwdriver head
It's
only.
There's the fuel plate. It says 24242. I don't know what that means, but we're about to take it out and take a peek at it.
Cool. Very good. You need to be careful when you take these out because there's washers on them. You don't want to lose. If you drop them in the pump, you better get them out. This plate will not go back in. Our AFC Housing modification will take care of that. There's the factory plate. We're not gonna have to modify it or anything because it's coming out. It stays out.
You can see it's pretty flat, so that's indicative of a stock plate.
All right, I'm breaking this loose. This AFC, I'd already broke it loose actually. Taking this out because we'll be replacing it with a swivel line that will go to the AFC Live to be inside the truck. This unit also has, this is called the smoke cover, smoke screw cover. And right here and here is an anti-theft screw that we need to cut a groove in so we can take it out.
All right, now I'm going to cut these
This one
slots here.
Slots. That's perfect.
Got it. All right, they're loose.
Yep.
The long travel kit actually comes with a replacement screw for this and that and this one.
Yeah, so we'll wind up replacing these. Also, just a side note that this original port, if you wasn't doing AFC Live and you was taking this apart, that the orientation needs to be toward the valve cover. If you don't, your line won't reach. Your factory line won't reach. But we're gonna have plenty with the AFC Live. We're gonna replace that. We'll go ahead and break this loose. There's a nut and a spring washer underneath here. The cup spring washer, make sure you save both of those. This is the original spring.
Original travel spring.
Yeah, and I'll show you the big difference in them. We'll be making some modifications to the AFC to give us, we'll be going from, we'll be adding 21 millimeters of stroke.
You don't need 10 millimeter.
Yeah, and one thing you want to do, let's just show
Mark that.
Yeah.
Mark that. This here swivels and it can raise and lower the foot. You want the foot to remain in the same location.
So we're going to describe around it. Two things to note about it.
That'd be perfect. It's right in the middle too.
One thing about it is there's a nut right here, as well as there is a washer underneath here.
You don't want to lose that washer.
I gotta prise it to get it out of there.
Yeah. I moved it some.
Yeah, you did. You moved it some. There's a little notch right here. All right. Is that just stuck there?
It's stuck on there, yeah. We'll
It's stuck. So, and here's our two things we're gonna do is we're gonna take 1/8 of an inch off of here. And this slight angle that you see on that foot, we're gonna level it out. So we're gonna set this down for right now. And I'm gonna put this in here. Let me see those calipers for just a second there, Parker. The minimum setting of 100 thousandths of travel to an 1/8 of an inch, which would be 125 thousandths. So if you overshoot it by a little bit, it's not a big detriment. So I'm gonna come right here, put a scribe mark on it. Where I can see it, and I'm gonna cut it off. And I'm gonna use my 4.5 inch grinder to do that. This blade's actually 50 thousandths of an inch thick. So I've got it scribed, but also I'll be able to, I should leave a piece about 75 thousandths of an inch past my blade. Pretty hot. That's 1 inch 250. So that's just a dab over an 1/8 of an inch.
Deburr it.
Yeah. And we'll clean it a little bit. Now this is what she looks like. Cut off and cleaned up. That surface is nice and clean now. Now, if you can take an imaginary line, this angle, this little tip, right? That's all you want to do is get just rid of that tip just a little bit. So I'm gonna take it over here to my sanding wheel and buff that off just a little bit. You can see, if you can see that spot where I filed it, I actually sanded it just a little bit. I took a little bit of that angle off, and that'll help us out just a little bit, and it gives us a little bit more travel. The rags just keep us from scratching it up. But there that is. All right, I've cut this. One thing that nobody mentions to anyone, see that angle of that foot right there? It's at an angle. The block that it controls inside the pump is at an angle. So when I took this corner off, I just tried to mimic that same angle and take part of that tip off. I didn't get every bit of it, and I'm happy with that. This rod right here, it goes into a slot that's in this shaft right here. And then this shaft, we'll take it, we'll stick it back in. Now I'll tell you what we got. Do we have a new O-ring for this? I think we do. It comes with the kit, so we're replacing the O-ring on the shaft. Yeah, actually we did. We bought this new seal kit. Even though this one looks pretty good, a couple of things I'll show you here in a minute.
I'm happy with that.
Got it like you like it.
I believe so. Got that back perfect.
I don't want to go down too far because we'll get that star washer. All right, we're going to put us a much longer spring in here as we'd shown before. We're putting this spring in and replace that spring. And this spring has the ability to control this rod to full stroke, and that one didn't, especially with us extending the range of it. So what we're going to do now is take this screwdriver, and it's kind of like a brake adjustment too. There's a star wheel in here. We're going to turn it clockwise all the way to the bottom. We got plenty of spring, so we're not worried about it. And taking it to the bottom, will give our spring more room for the coils to compress. You won't get into a coil bind situation. All right, there it is. It's on the bottom. Now I'm gonna put my spring in. Bam. I'm gonna take, and we'll show you something. You got the top one on. All right, let me raise this up. All right. So this small washer, it comes in a travel kit. This small washer is small enough to go inside the housing, and it'll give you the width of that washer more travel than what we had before. And now here's our new cup. We're replacing the rubber seal component of it. And the original washer that goes on top,
Leave that out.
you leave, yeah, this one don't go back in. The inside washer that was inside the diaphragm,
Much bigger.
it comes out, and then we'll replace it with the new washers that we put in. So now get our spring washer, put on there, and we'll take our nut and we'll put it on there. And we're going to take our wrench, we're going to snug it up. And we're going to watch this rubber. We see it starting to protrude. Washer's flat, the rubber's protruded, we're looking good. Now we're going to take our AFC housing cover, and Parker's putting it on there so it would be, oh, one other thing we need to do that we haven't done. Let's back that out. The smoke screw, this screw right here, which adjusts the pressure on here to set that level. We're going to loosen it up, back it up, because it's way in from where we would need to be. Okay.
I think it's sleeting outside.
Well, it's a good thing we're inside then. Parker just gave me a weather report.
You hold that down for me.
I can. I'll be happy to.
That way. I'm holding it down so I can see this correctly. Well, not so much. Up a little
Aren't
bit.
you good with that? Put the screws in there across from one another. First two. Yeah, this building has a metal roof on it, and I can actually hear the sleet hitting the roof, I think.
Okay.
All right, now. I backed off of that. So now then the new screws that come in the kit to go here and here. Okay.
Voila.
So now what we can do, you got the Allen wrench that fits this. This is your pre-boost fuel screw, and we want to run it in till we feel it touch. Look, you want to turn it in the vise so you can see what we're doing here. Let's
That's
do
touching
that.
right there.
All right, we'll show you what we're doing by turning it.
I'll take it 2 rounds. So we're
Well,
done.
no. We're changing several things. We're going to 5x12 injectors. We're going to 025 delivery valves. So we've got a lot of fuel. And we're also changing our turbo to HE351 60 by 67. So what we're looking for now is this foot, when he screws that screw in, it'll start screwing in. All right, right, let's see, right.
Right there's it's touching.
All right, turn it 1 full revolution. So bring it all the way around, bring it back to me. That's probably about where we want to be, right there. If it was a stock truck with stock valves and injectors, You want to turn it sideways?
I was just gonna turn it straight up and down. Just a little more.
You'd turn it 3 rounds. That's the whole point of this. You can adjust it later on. If it's too smoky,
It's a good minimum.
it's a good minimum. That's controlling our stroke. It's working fine, Parker. Now you see by us cutting that 1/8 of an inch off, see how much more travel we got? Got another full 1/8 of an inch of fueling. That's
Looks
awesome.
good.
It's good. It's good. I'm happy with that. Now we're going to replace our O-ring. What he's done, we've taken this O-ring out. The seal kit that we purchased has a new one.
There's the old one.
There's the old one. Looks pretty frazzled.
Put this guy back on here. All right. It's modified.
Yeah, so now we have our P-Pump. We've set up and actually calibrated the. We didn't show you this, but we calibrated the timing on the left on this pump to 18.5 degrees. We also put 02025 delivery valves in it, and we also put a Max Travel Kit in this component, and we also put AFC Live controller on it, which we'll be able to control it inside the cab. We'll be able to control it, how much fuel, and we can control how quick we get it from inside the cab. And also we got a full power switch. You can just flip, bang. You don't have to touch it, it's full power or full travel. So I'm excited.